how are they going to deal with Beckham, and how are they going to deal with Landry, and what do the Browns have to do? I mean, he gives you game plans.
Yeah, he did, and to talk to that, he went into. That's a really good secondary. Tennessee, it's a good defense, but it's a great secondary. Have a lot of money in the secondary. Have a lot of expatriates in the secondary. They have Malcolm Butler, the guy that was the Super Bowl hero that saved them against Seattle. They have Logan Ryan back there. They have Kenny Bynard back there, who they paid a ton of money. Had 3 interceptions here the last time the Titans played the Browns. And they have Adoree Jackson. I mean, they're really good in the secondary. So, I said, how should Baker Mayfield attack that? And he said, by taking small bites.
Yeah.
You have to be patient against the Titans. They're going to force you to be patient. They're going to say, we bet that you're not going to be able to go 10 to 12 plays and score on us. If you can, you're probably going to score on us.
Right.
But most teams have a difficult time doing that. You blow a coverage, you commit a penalty, you just get behind the sticks or something like that. And that forces you then to take deep shots and erratic shots. And and that's what they play you to do, is to go off your game plan, take a shot deep, and they're going to beat you deep. They're going to get in front of you. They're going to intercept the football. They're going to turn you over, something like that. Yeah. He said you have to be patient, and then kind of get them off their mark, and then take the shot a little bit later than you think. Now, you say right now, well, we've got Beckham and we have these guys. Let's go down the field. He's saying. Nay. Don't do that.
Can't do that. Yeah. That's interesting because, I mean, me thinking, something you said to me before this year, before the preseason even started, that, the Browns, a lot of times their formula to win, they want to be physical and they want to get Nick Chubb involved, and they may give him 25 carries a game.
That's the number.
That's kind of the magic number. That would lend itself to me to be of a mindset where we're gonna pound you, and then when you want to come up and you want to cheat against the run and you think, okay, we're gonna stop Chubb up top, there it is. Yeah. But the Browns they have so many, and the other thing, Jimmy, is that we saw last year with Freddie Kitchens. They're not afraid to run a gadget if they feel like the defense is in a certain stance or in a certain formation. They're not afraid to run a gadget.
No, not at all. I mean, they ran a wishbone at one time last year, and Dontrell Hilliard threw a pass out of it. Right. So now there are some people that are saying it's going to be a crazy atmosphere down there on Sunday, and the team's going to be, you would assume, and I do believe that this is going to be the case, the team is going to be very excited. Okay, they're going to get a hero's welcome in there. Okay, it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. And you might have to bring them down a little bit. And that happened against Cincinnati last year in the game here because the stadium was sold out. They were playing well. Everybody thought they were going to blow the Bengals out. And for the first quarter, they were dropping balls. Mayfield missed a couple of throws. Higgins dropped a short touchdown. And then finally they got going. Now, having said that, some people are saying, Freddie got a little, big play happy at times too. And maybe he needs to bring it down. And that's the Chubb factor.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb settles everything down. It's really hard to get Nick Chubb upset.
Yeah.
It's, he just runs hard, and he runs hard every play. He can, he is the 10-play drive. He's not always going to be the 92-yard run.
No.
He's the 7-yard pickup, and he gets you in 2nd and 3. It's going to be an interesting chess match there because, they're not exciting offensively, Tennessee. But they're good defensively. And Mike Vrabel, Dean Pease is the defensive coordinator. But I think that's the matchup. That's the chess match in this one.
More so than, Marcus Mariota against, Steve Wilks and the Browns defense.
Yeah, and I think the problem there is maybe their best player on the team isn't playing, Taylor Lewan, their left tackle. He's suspended. Now, that's a bad day to not have your left tackle against this Browns front four. I don't think there's any mystery at all, okay, that the Browns go after the left tackle.
Yep. Over and over again.
And if he gets help, and I would assume they would give him help, they're going to go to the other side.
Right. It was amazing. Last night, if you watched the season finale of Hard Knocks, John Gruden was just kind of doing random defensive fronts against, just as he was kind of talking to the Raiders' second-string offensive people, and one of them was the Browns' defense against Tampa Bay and Olivier Vernon. Not Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon. And Gruden specifically pointed out Vernon and said, he's an animal and, he eats glass and, all those kind of Grudenisms. But it reminds, we're going to see Sunday that defensive line, and I'm excited to finally see those guys together. As much as I want to see Beckham and Landry, I want to see what do you do to stop Vernon and Garrett with the guys that the Browns have, either inside them or behind them. How are you going to stop that?
Well, it's interesting you bring it up because I saw Vernon eat a whole window today. And as you know, Berea's got big windows. Don't shortchange Ogunjobi and Richardson in the middle. The Browns got very good pressure through the middle during the preseason. That Devereaux Lawrence, all of those sacks that he got were right through the middle.
Which is a new thing
Which
in
is
the
a new
NFL.
thing in the NFL because of three-step drops. So the nice thing, you're right, is that nobody's on a pitch count anymore. I mean, Garrett, I think in the Tampa Bay game only played like 1 or 2 plays.
That's it.
And they got him out of there. That's going to be fun. I mean, they are. Let me say this. They had a great practice today. For those that were in the practice, they just said there was a different level to how they were performing out on the field. You could tell that it was a game week and that they are very excited to play the game. They're excited to show everybody what they have. And defensively, that's going to be fun to watch. They're very good. They were, for a long period of time before we got a chance to see them in training camp, they were hidden by the fact that everybody was talking about the offense, deservedly so. But, man, when you saw that defense, which gave the offense fits every day in practice out in Berea, they were fun to watch. They'll be fun to watch. I predict they'll be very good Sunday.
Yeah, I want to see – I mean, I was just thinking, we didn't see a whole lot of Denzel Ward in the preseason. He got nicked up a little bit. But I want to see he and Greedy Williams and Mitchell together in that secondary. And, good luck trying to throw against them. I want to see how those guys do. Here's a great example of the excitement. Claudine just wrote us. She's flying up from Dallas for the home opener.
Well, Claudine, if you come in on Saturday, you should go down to First Energy Stadium. And the reason is because they have a ton of events on Saturday afternoon, fan events. There's all kinds of members of the alumni are going to be down there, the Browns alumni, topped off by, I think it's at about 1 o'clock, 1:15, so you should be there at 1 o'clock. The unveiling of Otto Graham's statue.
Yes.
And that is really, that's going to be something. For years, the Browns were criticized for, especially since coming back in 1999, they've been criticized for not recognizing and keeping in the loop the alumni of the team.
Yes.
And they've done a much better job at that in the last few years. And I'll tell you who's a big engine to drive that bus, and that is John Dorsey. John Dorsey is a history freak about football. So when you mention Otto Graham, or if you mention Paul Brown to him, I mean, it's hallelujah time. So I would only tell you, Claudine, if you're really into this thing, to get a taste of it on Saturday before Sunday, go down to the stadium because the weather's going to be great.
You mentioned Paul Brown real quick, and then I'll get back to the game. At some point, can the Haslams and Mike Brown sit down and say, boy, we really want to honor your father. And Paul Brown's the guy that started all this. He started this franchise. We want to do a statue of him. And I kind of feel like with Otto Graham, kind of the throwback to that era, and Otto Graham was such the great quarterback, the 10 championship games in 10 years. Paul Brown certainly deserves, his kudos and his accolades.
Goodness, yeah, I totally endorse what you're saying. I think it should have been the first statue.
I kind of do too, to be
whatever
honest.
The red tape is, whatever the, where to bury the hatchet, I don't know, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just this kind of a sidebar. And I know you brought this up with Bernie on the show, but it's been the big national thing about the Browns all offseason, especially by, as I call them, the carnival barkers on talk radio, Colin Cowherd and those types of people, saying, well, with the Browns, you add in this unpredictable element of Beckham to go with Mayfield and Landry and Njoku and Chubb. There's going to come a point where somebody's going to be mad because they're not getting enough touches. There's not enough footballs to go around.
Right.
Do you think Mayfield can handle that? Do you think this team can handle that?
Well, Mayfield, I think, can definitely handle it, and I think it's handled. The other thing is, now, do the others buy into it? The easiest way for them to buy into it is when they look up on the scoreboard and if they're ahead, and they win, and that will take care of everything. Freddie Kitchens leans on this example, and John Dorsey too, that in the second half of the year, when that offense started to click near the end of the season, and they won the 5 out of the last 7 games, Jarvis Landry sacrificed a lot of catches.
Yes, he did.
But they won.
Yes.
And he was a happy guy because he saw the light, and the light was, I think we're going to be pretty good. And that was way before OBJ joined the Browns in that trade. So I think there's no doubt in my mind Mayfield handles that. He is a leader. And what Bernie said today on the radio show, on Dog Pound Radio, is that you have to be a dictator in the huddle.
Yes.
It's not a democracy in the huddle. It's your huddle, and you have to be a dictator. And if you're not, you can't be in the huddle.
Right.
And there were too many guys that played the quarterback position here. And, I keep thinking of that shirt with all of the names
the
on
29
it. And there were
others,
too many of them that weren't the dictator in the huddle.
Right.
That, you had Braylon Edwards barking at you. You had Winslow barking at you. You had, you had other guys complaining and whining and moaning about not getting the ball. Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon running wrong routes.
Right.
Things like that. So I think that Lawrence Vickers. I remember one time Lawrence Vickers wanted to fight Derek Anderson.
That's right.
I don't think Mayfield has a problem with that. I just think it's something in his DNA that he's ready to go. And the other thing, Dino, is I think that they all realize that they're sitting on something that could be very good. So let's let it be very good.
Right.
Let's let it be very good.
Let's make the most of this. Joy says Paul Brown combined the art of teaching with football. And
no argument here. No argument here.
Most innovative head coach that we've seen, Paul Brown. That's a great point. What should, as we think about Sunday, it's the last time I have a chance to do a show with you between now and Sunday. You'll be doing, Red Zone tomorrow night?
Yes.
Early on in the game, what are fans looking for to know that, okay, the jitters they've put the jitters away and things are going well for the Browns?
Yeah, well, I would think, I used to watch Michael Jordan when in his heyday with the Bulls. And Michael Jordan early in games used to get everybody involved and sacrifice maybe the first 7 possessions. He might not do the Jordan thing, where he was doing the amazing dunks and great plays, but he would get Cartwright involved.
Right.
He would get Paxson involved. He would get B.J. Armstrong involved, Horace Grant involved. Whoever, he spread the ball around. I think that's what you're going to see. And I think it's all going to be done off of 3-step drops and getting the ball out. I think Baker's going to probably, and with Freddie calling the plays, is that they're probably going to try and get everybody involved. So get Beckham an early touch and not make it a bomb per se. But remember, Beckham is a tricky receiver that can separate on a slant and go all the way. Landry the same way. I would think that they would try and get Landry a touch. And Njoku will be important to get him involved. Now remember, he's been nicked up and missed a lot of practice time and also playing time in the preseason, to the point where he even played a little bit in the 4th preseason game just to get him back in the flow of things. But again, I think everything goes through Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I really do. I think a lot of things go through Nick Chubb, and I think that's the stabilizing factor. Now, for them, I think the same thing. I mean, they've got the great running back out of Alabama, Derrick Henry. Okay,
former Heisman winner.
Now, who's dealt with a calf injury. His action on Sunday will be his first action of the entire summer. He didn't play in any of the preseason games. But I like Chubb. I like Chubb. I mean, I love Chubb. And I think a lot of things go through him. But I would imagine Baker will try and get everybody involved early.
No huddle at all?
They could do that. There was a reason they wanted to do that in the Washington game. Here's the thing about the no huddle, is that it, as great as it looked and as effective as it can be, and how quarterbacks love it because basically they're calling their own plays up at the line of scrimmage, it's taxing on your defense.
Yes.
And you say, why? I mean, we have the ball. Yeah, but you don't have it long.
Right.
Right? And if you don't succeed at it, you hardly have it at all.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, that's what you have to watch out for. Now, they're built depth-wise along the defensive line that they can handle, being on the field a little bit longer. But I think the goal is to squeeze the game down a little bit and keep the defense as fresh as they possibly can. That's why the no huddle thing. No, I think that they'll jump into it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's going to be, they're going to be like Kansas City where they're constantly doing it.
Yeah.
Because, now look at it, really, what killed Kansas City at the end? Their defense. They couldn't get a stop.
Right.
I think that's the key here is that hand in hand, I think, so balance is the thing I think they're looking for.
Right. The last thing that just comes on my mind as I think about this game, it's the head coaching debut regular season for Freddie Kitchens. And, he's had the preseason to get ready. He's had all offseason to think about this and to put together a really good staff around him. But, now, it's his show Sunday, and he'll have the game plan ready. But I'll just be curious when the first decision comes. Okay, do I punt the football on 4th down and 2, or do I go for it? Do I challenge, not challenge? Clock management.
Yeah.
Those little things that don't always appear on the stat sheets at the end, but it's just something that you watch, especially before the end of a half and the end of a game. I'm curious to see how he handles those things.
Well, that will be very interesting. I think that everything he has done so far, he has the team, I have to admit, perfectly prepared for the opening game of the season. He ran a tough physical camp, and they are incredibly healthy.
Yeah.
So he ran this physical camp where they were in pads over 95% of training camp. It was unbelievable how many days they were in pads and how much they hit during training camp, probably more than any other team in the NFL. And yet, he was able to manage playing time and injuries, and this team is really as fit as a fiddle going into this game. So everything he has done, I would have to say there isn't one criticism I have of what he has done so far and how he's managed things. He definitely wanted Beckham and Landry to be as healthy as they could be for the start of the season, and they're ready to go. He wanted Mayfield to feel comfortable. I don't think he really wanted him to play him as much in Tampa in the third preseason game, but I think Mayfield went to him and said, "Hey, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more
reps."
And so I think he handled that. And I think right now, I think the other thing too to keep in mind, Baker went 10 for 26 in Tampa.
Yeah.
For 72 yards.
Yes.
Now, knowing Baker Mayfield, as we are all getting to know more and more about him, you don't think that has stuck in his craw? A lot of guys would say, it's a preseason game. I didn't have Landry. I didn't have Beckham. Not this guy.
Nope.
This guy wants to compete. He wants to be 25 of 26, and he'll even woe about the one that was missed. I think that drives him.
I do too.
And I would expect him to come out on fire on Sunday. I'm not going to use his line of feeling dangerous.
Yes.
I think he comes out on fire on Sunday because I think he is so ready. His best friend, Tony Grossi, asked him a question today about playing the game. Is it help playing the game at home? And he had his game face on, and he just said, you know what, I don't care if we play in a parking lot. It's time to play.
Time to play. That tells you where his head's at.
Yeah.
And it's such the... I think it's... I was thinking about this when I listened to a little bit driving into work, listened to a little bit of Freddie. It reminds me a little bit of his Bear Bryant lineage. He played for Gene Stallings, who, of course, comes from that Bear Bryant tree in Alabama. And then, of course, the Bill Parcells element.
Right. Yeah.
And just the toughness and the... no excuses. We're just going to play. We're going to play wherever. We don't care if it's home. We don't care if it's away. We don't care if it's raining. We don't care if it's snowing. We're just going to play.
Yeah.
That's where, to me, that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah, and where that really, you're right, where I really visually saw that was in those practices over in Indianapolis.
Yes.
That's when they came together.
Yeah.
That's when they came together. If this works, starting on Sunday, that toughness, if all of a sudden you see that they are much, a lot of times, let's face it, you would take a look at the Browns and say, they're getting out tough.
Yes.
Okay? And sometimes it was embarrassing.
Yes.
Okay? And most of the times those particular moments were in AFC North games. Baltimore pushed them around. Cincinnati pushed them around. And Pittsburgh really pushed them around. I think those days are over. And I could see it on the practice field in Indianapolis. They were at a different level than the Colts. And it wasn't finesse. It was toughness.
Yeah.
and I think that's going to pay off for them.
And keep in mind, the Colts are still a team, despite the fact that Luck retired, that people are still calling a potential playoff team. The Browns went out there in 2 days and really, those 2 days of practice and really handled them.
Yeah. So. It was night and day.
Yeah. So we'll see if that translates into success on Sunday. Jimmy, I can't wait to have the radio on and listen and enjoy. You and Deke have a great call, and look forward to recapping it next week.
All right.
And we'll look forward to certainly doing that. We'll have another show back here tomorrow night. Remember, the Donovan Live Postgame Show is presented by Master Pizza. Download the Master Pizza app. Earn those pizza points today. That's Master Pizza. Taste above all. For Jimmy, I'm Dino. It's the Donovan Live Postgame Show on WKYC's Facebook Live and YouTube.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.